Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. This is a daily collective support reading. So let's get into it. We have in the primary position the never ending story, the higher power in reverse, and chaos and conflict in reverse. If I'm not mistaken, the divine feminine support reading I did a day or two ago also received the higher power in reverse, which could signify a couple things. One, that the entire collective currently is working with feminine energies, or just that my collective here, the viewers, are predominantly working with their feminine energies. So if something in that resonates for you, you can go watch the divine feminine support reading. Excuse me, still coughing. Super annoying. I apologize. So we have the truth card in reverse. Where in your life could you benefit from telling even more truth? Where in your life are you not speaking your full truth? Because this is the piece that's going to move the needle forward. By holding back your truth and shutting down your throat chakra, you are holding growth hostage. There is something that wants to come to completion. And if I'm not mistaken, it feels that it's a matter of the heart. Take that as it resonates. I'm not sure what that could look like for you. It could look like a love obstacle or a love block. Excuse me, within a relationship, within a partnership, with family. It could be something that feels something that feels like it's crossing your heart boundary, whatever that means. There's so there's so much coming into my system right now of examples, so I can't really go into them because there's so many people viewing it through their lens. So I'm getting like I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember a Rolodex, but that's the image. It's like a spinning image of all these different stories moving through me. So again, where in your life is there truth sitting there unspoken? Where can you take accountability for that truth and clean that area up? We have this image of what looks to be like a fairy or some sort of mystical creature. She has, I'm assuming it's a she, that's my projection and perception. She has wings, and I believe she's holding a mirror. And if you notice, I don't know if you could see from there, but the mirror, she's not holding the mirror. The mirror is laying on the ground below her. She's not looking in the mirror, so she's not facing some sort of reflection or truth. This creature, this kind of divine etheric creature, is also sitting atop an hourglass, and within that hourglass, it looks like time is running out, and within that hourglass, there's a heart. So take that as it resonates. Is there a truth that is rooted in your heart that you have held back? There is, I don't fully believe that time can truly run out. I believe that we are infinite creatures and we have an infinite number of chances, either in this life or in the next, or in the grid of unconditional love and infinite oneness, that even if someone leaves this human 3D plane, that we can still speak our truth to that energy. We could still move that truth, whether we have that opportunity to have a direct conversation or clearing moment with that person, place, thing, organization, whatever it is. We always have an opportunity. So take the time running out narrative with a grain of salt. I think it's more so prompting us to acknowledge that time is passing, and maybe it would just behoove you and your energetic health to plug this hole of energy where you might be leaking. So it's in essence, it's just tidying up that piece of the energy, so that when you're going through your life, anytime you're going through your life and there's something unspoken or incomplete, we're actually leaking and draining energy to that thing. Excuse me. Okay. So we have the higher power in reverse, which in the Divine Feminine reading spoke to our relationship with Source and needing to take accountability for creating space to drop into Source consciousness, or taking accountability to nurture and connect with Source, or whatever that looks like for you. It feels very clear that when we do this, or when the collective accesses higher self, Source, unity consciousness, oneness, whatever you want to call it, we will have access to our passion. If you notice in that card, I think when people hear passion, they go immediately to root chakra stuff. In this card, the heart is actually on fire. So there's something about accessing divine higher wisdom, higher power that will ignite your heart's truth, with which actually feeds into the first card of this concept of time is running out to speak your heart's truth. So speak it, let yourself be on, let your heart ignite, let your heart's truth ignite and burn whatever needs to be burned down, or maybe it's just burning a path through to truth. Maybe it's burning a path through so that you can actually walk and take a step that's more in alignment with your soul's deepest passion, deepest mission. Excuse me, I need a sip of water. Okay. All right, we also have the chaos and conflict card in reverse, power in reverse, and obstacles and challenges. Okay. Sorry, let me just feel this for a moment. It's interesting. When I do these readings, you're going to hear me name random things. Like, for instance, right now I'm feeling a lot of pressure and tension in my left shoulder. Left side of the body is the feminine side of the body. So where do you have obstacles? No, let me not ask a question. Let me name it. When we don't have access to our feminine side of things, we cauterize a piece of our flow to that energy. Sorry, let me rephrase that. When we are cut off from our feminine side of things, we are not able to access discernment, intuition, and resonance. Thus, chaos and conflict may occur or may ensue. Or if you already are having chaos and conflict and noticing there are more challenges and obstacles than normal, it is time to nourish the feminine energy. There's a lot of feminine energy all over this. Sorry, I'm just counting these stars in this card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, maybe something with the number 7, but I don't know if, okay, what just came through for me, I don't know if you've heard that thing of like, any action we take affects 7 generations forward and 7 generations backwards. When we're talking about our lineage, our ancestral histories, our ancestral narratives, our ancestral trauma, our mission as a family, when you access your feminine power, you actually are healing the feminine line 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. Your actions, words, your deeds have a massive divine ripple effect out. There's more in this message, but let me move on because I think it's going to come through after. Okay. So we're calling in balance in whatever that in the elemental kingdom. For me, when I read that elemental kingdom, I immediately think to energy anatomy. I've spent years studying energy anatomy, specifically with Carolyn Mace, and she talks about how our biography is our biology. If you just Google that phrase, a bunch of Carolyn May stuff should pop up. And what that means exactly is she was a medical intuitive. So she worked with people and she could immediately intuit what their health, their literal physiological health issues were. And she can intuit and correlate those issues and blockages and I don't want to say diagnose because she wouldn't diagnose people, but she could identify a prognosis by assessing the person's biography. Quite literally, your history with your life history would show up physiologically in the body, and she could identify that and make connections. So basically, we are seeking to balance these energies and call all of our energy back home to self so that we can be fully resourced in the present moment. If does that make sense? If it doesn't, feel free to ask questions in the comments. Basically, at any given moment, we want to be firing on all cylinders. That means in the present moment, we want to be able to access all of our life force, all of our arrows, all of our joy, all of our knowledge, all of our wisdom. And to do that, we have to slowly go back and plug all of these energetic leaks. What do leaks look like? Leaks look like if you wake up in the morning and you're thinking about something that happened in the past, either with family, either in your childhood, maybe at work. Anytime you're not fully in the present, you are leaking energy to that thing. And it could be leaking energy to the past, or if it shows up in the form, excuse me, if it shows up in the form of worry, that's actually leaking energy to the future. So how do we do this? What's blocking? How do we access? These are big questions. So there's massive amounts of third chakra stuff in this reading. So how do we access our power? What do we need to feel safe and secure, and that we are confident to share our truth, share our voice, to express ourselves the way we want to, whether that's through voice, whether it's through movement, whether it's through creation of art or projects, or whatever that looks like. How do we access that self-esteem to meet the mystery and not feel like we have to control and be hyper vigilant and understand every single thing to protect ourselves, but instead to have enough faith and trust in self that we can be flexible with the unfurling, beautiful mystery that's always showing up in every given moment? How can we use that confidence and access that confidence to become more adaptable? This is accessing your personal power is the spiritual path, right? This is what we're doing. We're learning how to call our spirit back from places it does not belong, so that we are fully resourced. Okay. All right, there may be some form of awakening in your life, or what I'm getting from the specific message is an awakening of a former idea or project or some sort of unfinished thing. It could look like anything. It doesn't have to be like the creation of something. It could actually be that the energy that you used to have is having like a renewal experience, and you are getting a second opportunity to invest energy in a new way, to invest energy rooted in your intuition and wise discernment. You're accessing your creativity, and when we're able to access creativity, which is second chakra, we are accessing our sensuality, more of our life force, our eros. We are accessing confidence in the face of change. We are accessing this bubbly, when you drink like a soda or seltzer and you just poured it and you take a sip and all those bubbles are tickling your face. When I think of eros in this kind of life force fun way. That's what I feel. I literally feel that feeling of all those seltzer bubbles. And that seltzer bubble feeling to me is this, oh, is this beautiful, sacred, divine, childlike innocence. This someone I follow, I can't remember her name, on Instagram calls it unhinged sparkle. And the second I read that, I was like, boom, seltzer bubbles. That's exactly, she put the name to something I couldn't, and it was so beautiful. It's this sweet, unhinged sparkle. Like when you think of a kid on a playground, they're not preemptively planning how they're going to play on the playground. They're not like, okay, I'm going to spend 20 minutes in the sandbox, and then I'm definitely going to spend 25 minutes on the swings, and then I'm going to go down the slide 6 times. And you know what I mean? Like, it sounds ridiculous to think about that, but really, excuse me, really, that's kind of what we fall into as adults. We become so rigid and structured. And I think that's because over time, we absorb a lot more fear than excitement in our system. We lose that. We lose that pursuit of awe and wonder. And that feeling, I'm so sorry for coughing, that feeling of meeting the mystery and being surprised. Like, how often are you actually surprised in a regular day? It's kind of very rare, I would say. I'm not often surprised these days. And when we are, like a joyful surprise, like you show up at work and on your desk all of a sudden there's a vase of flowers, or your coworker bought you your favorite pack of gum, or someone on the street, I don't know, gives you a compliment. And how beautiful is that moment when you're like, whoa, this stranger, I don't know them at all. They have no bearing on my life. And yet they just blessed me with an injection of life force by complimenting my outfit or my hair or whatever it is, or my energy. Those moments are the gift that keep on giving. And if you've ever experienced that moment, um, what is Carolyn Mace calls these moments something? Divine contracts? No, I can't remember, but she has a whole book literally about blessing, like sharing the wealth basically. And it's so true. When someone gives unconditionally to you, gives you that compliment, it boosts us in such a way that we are ready, open, and willing to give away that beautiful excess of joyful energy. We compliment the next person, or we bring the guy at the parking garage a coffee, or like whatever it is. These, I think she calls them sacred acts of kindness or hidden acts of kindness. And it's these juicy moments that we have total power over of. And we can create as many of these as we want in our life. And yet something blocks that. Something blocks that beautiful innocence that naturally wants to multiply and play and be silly and fun and light. And when you think of children and that childlike wonder, there's so much creativity in it, right? There's so much life force. Children could have an experience, or just even when they're just straight up happy, they will draw their happiness, and they will draw like 40 drawings in like 10 minutes, just because that energy, they can't even keep up with it. They're just oozing with creativity. Okay. I need water. Okay, let's see what else is here. It's funny, I spent so much time talking about playtime and children and whatever. I didn't even realize we had a playtime card here. Ooh, yes, the enchantment. The enchantment of childlike awe and wonder. It is addicting. If you've ever been someone around, like these adults that have maintained this connection to their inner child, they are pretty few and far between. And I feel like it's safe to say that most people have met someone like that, and they are charismatic. They are oozing with charm, and you just want to be generous with them because they're giving away so much beauty for free. They're just sprinkling it all around. We all have access to that magnetism. And it's through gratitude. It's through this outrageous openness, this outrageous, vulnerable, delightful, delicious intimacy with life and energy and truth, and being able to be intimate and vulnerable with the unfolding mystery. We don't know where it's going to go. We definitely don't know where it's going to take us. But that trust in that we will be able to handle wherever it does take us, that is the self-esteem piece. That is the self-worth, the self-confidence piece. I'm just going to read this card because I think it's sweet. This is the worth card. You have been worthy to belong to love all along without any need to improve. You are love itself. And we are awakening to that fact. We are clearing any energetic blocks, and we are coming into a deeper companionship, an intimate relationship with the unfurling mystery. I was looking for a better word because I keep using the word mystery. If you have a better word for mystery, put it below. And this takes profound courage, right? This isn't something that we're used to. However, it is something that we came into this life with, right? We were a part of the infinite, and this is what I believe, I believe that we chose to incarnate here. I believe that we signed a soul contract and we chose these life lessons. We chose our pain, we chose our pleasure to advance our soul. Because the only way the soul can advance is in a 3D body. We need these delightful, delicious, divine vessels to have experience, to bump up against blockages and obstacles. We need this tangible body to advance advance our lessons here in Earth School. Okay, what's left? Oh, I didn't even touch on the unconscious. Okay, so you can't see it, it's off camera, but I have the bottom card of all the decks that I pulled. So something that's in the unconscious, which I don't, if you haven't heard me say this before, um, the bottom deck card is the symbolizes what is hiding in the shadow, either because we are unconscious of it and we can't see that it's in the shadow, or it's something we we intentionally shove into the shadow because it's too strong of a vibration for us to come into relationship with, and we push it away because we can't deal with it. So our intuition is in the shadow. Our ability to ask for help is in the shadow. Something regarding our gifts and our heart chakra is in the shadow. So let me just take a moment to put this together. Yeah, it's funny. I took that big deep breath because it felt like an onslaught of really dense energy. So, because we felt a lot of the feminine thread here, and intuition is very much rooted in the feminine side of our energy, I want to ask, where in your life have you been shutting down your intuition? Where in your life have you, this is a big one, and I'm going to take space after because it's a big thing. Where in your life have you said yes when you wanted to say no? Deep breaths. So much of my early work with energy anatomy was actually learning about boundaries and consent. I have a background in sacred sexuality and conscious relating. And so much of this boils down to consent and boundaries. Really learning our really becoming self-aware and learning where our limits and edges are so that we can better communicate our yeses and our nos. And just as a little footnote moment, if you cannot discern your yes or your no, it's time to pause. And if you find yourself in the land of maybe, if you're coming to a maybe conclusion, a maybe equals a no for now, right? Because if we say yes when it's a maybe, we are essentially crossing a boundary. We are walking into the land of fogginess, and more oftentimes than not, we we do perceive it, our energetic bodies perceive that as a boundary being crossed. Okay, we have the leg up card in reverse. So, oh, my heart just got really heavy with this card. Oftentimes, it is very difficult for feminine energies to ask for help. And I don't want to pigeonhole this whole reading as a feminine thing. I just kept getting that vibration over and over again. And well, I'm not going to retract. Let's just keep moving forward. But this could be masculine or feminine, is the point. So, where are you not allowing yourself to ask for help or receive help? What shows up when I say that? Do you feel anything in your body? Write it down, mark it for later. What are the blockages that are coming up? What are the internal parts or your internal voices saying about someone who would receive help? Or what narratives are you keeping alive, or judgments or criticisms about people that receive help? Lean into that, because one of those narratives is a limiting belief and keeping you stuck in this cyclical, never ending story, whatever that is, and it's preventing you from accessing truth. We also have the heart chakra in the unconscious position. So, what is bubbling up under the waters in your heart chakra, in your where are you not trusting your heart? Where are you not trusting love? Where have you cut yourself off from your heart? It's very common in our society to go straight to the brain, right? We live in a very masculine oriented culture. I'll speak for the US. It's very rigid. It's more about structures and penetrating energy and working yourself to the bone and not resting, and the land of opportunity and go, 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 go. So, where have you not incorporated your heart's truth? Your heart's truth wants to come to the table, wants a seat at the table. Let me say it in a different way. It wants to have an equal partnership with you and with your brain. How can you invite your heart and your heart's truth to the table? Do you not feel safe to be in your heart? If so, I don't want to go too deep because this can get very activating for the nervous system. So take up enough space to go at your own pace and honor where you're at with these ideas, because you can go very deep with the heart chakra. Excuse me. So there are also in the sorry, I just got like three narratives all competing for my attention. There is something in the unconscious about reviewing your gifts and your talents. What gifts do you know you have and are pushing away? Here's another interesting little tip of how you can identify when you're not using your own gift. If you've ever been in a situation where you're criticizing how someone else is doing something, if you've ever been in a situation where you're like, I know better, they shouldn't have done that, they should have done this, or it should have unfolded like this, or they should have taken more responsibility or more care, or blah, 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 fill in the blank. If you think you can do better, that is actually a nudge from the divine to actually go and do better. You are being called to something higher. If you know the way, you are being called to make the way for others. This is how this stuff works. So call up to have like a gift review, and you could even journal about this. Take space to really claim that, right? Tap into that solar plexus. Own that you know, sorry, you can't see me, but I'm making this like chest superhero move, like a Superman kind of, like puff up your chest a little bit and be a little cocky with your gifts. You're allowed. I give you full permission. That is whatever that flavor of cockiness that shows up in your life, that's your gift. If you know better and can do better, you're being called. Go do it. And if you can't do it, honor that. Honor what's blocking and take profound divine care with what's showing up in that moment. Get micro present with what's blocking that confidence or that ability to charge ahead. Okay. The last piece that I've kind of been avoiding talking about this whole time, I don't know why, it just feels kind of out of left field. It feels oddly placed in this reading. We have this gardening card, and it's about manifesting, planting, and reaping. So, think about the amount of life force it takes to maintain a garden. If anybody's ever tried to maintain a garden, even a windowsill garden, it takes a lot of presence and know-how, and you have to be on a schedule, and you have to pay attention, to these little seedlings, and they need different things at different stages, and it just takes a lot of bandwidth. So something I'm getting, a thread that feels the loudest here is actually reaping. So when I talk about this, feel into what comes up for you. There is something that I believe you've devoted so much of yourself to for years and years and years. I don't know where this narrative is coming from, but I'm just going to follow it through, and clearly it's for someone, so I'm just going to keep talking. There is something that you've invested your life force in for a very long time. And I'm getting the impression that it was behind closed doors. It was in the comfort of your own heart and body and desires that you've given a lot of your energy to this thing. You've been planting these seeds over a long period of time, and this is now the time of harvest. You will be reaping the benefits of whatever this thing is. I can't even name it. I'm not getting an impression of what it looks like or how it's showing up. But of course, as I said that, I've got like 5 impressions. Hold on. It could just be, again, tying it back to our self worth. It could be that maybe you're not able to speak up and share